Hey Taurus, I need to share something with you today that's been showing up so clearly in the cards. You know those moments when you can just feel the energy shifting around you? When people who've been playing games suddenly realize the rules have changed? That's exactly what's happening right now in your universe. I've been sitting here with your cards spread out in front of me, and honestly, the message is so precise, it's almost unsettling. We're talking about people who've mastered the art of playing victim while simultaneously being the most selfish individuals you've ever encountered. And here's what the universe wants you to understand today. These people, they're entering what I call violent mode. Not necessarily physical violence, but that emotional, psychological violence where they lash out because they're losing control of the narrative they've built around themselves. But before we dive deep into what's coming, I want you to understand something crucial. You're not reading this by accident. You're not here because YouTube's algorithm randomly suggested this video. You're here because your energy called out for clarity and the universe is responding. The storm you're walking through right now, you already know it exists. You felt it brewing. What you might not know yet is how powerful your position actually is in all of this. So let me start pulling these cards for you, and I promise you, by the time we're done here, you're going to see your situation with completely different eyes. The first card I'm holding in my hands right now is the Chariot. And Taurus, when I tell you this card came flying out of the deck, I mean it literally jumped into my reading space. The Chariot is all about forward movement, about control, about victory after struggle. But here's what makes this so specific to your situation right now. Someone in your life has been watching you move forward. They've been watching you take control of your own narrative, your own journey, your own power. And it's driving them absolutely crazy. The Chariot doesn't just represent movement, it represents directed movement. You're not wandering aimlessly anymore. You're not second-guessing yourself every 5 minutes. You've harnessed both sides of your nature, the gentle and the fierce, the patient and the determined, and you're moving forward with purpose. This is what terrifies the people around you who've been trying to keep you small. Because here's the thing about the Chariot energy. It's unstoppable once it gets going. Those two sphinxes pulling the chariot in traditional imagery, they represent opposing forces that the charioteer has learned to control and direct. In your life right now, this translates to you finally managing to balance all those conflicting demands, all those voices telling you to go different directions. But while you've been getting your life together, while you've been harnessing this energy, someone else has been spiraling. And this is where the victim mentality comes in. See, people who operate from a victim mindset can't stand watching other people succeed. It threatens their entire worldview. If you can overcome obstacles and move forward, then what excuse do they have for staying stuck? Your success becomes a mirror, reflecting their own choices back at them, and they hate what they see. The Chariot is telling me that you've recently made some decisions, big ones. Decisions about where you're heading and who you're taking with you on this journey. And more importantly, who you're leaving behind. This isn't cruel, Taurus. This is necessary. The Chariot has limited space, and you can't carry people who are actively trying to sabotage your progress. What I'm seeing here is that your forward movement has triggered something in these selfish individuals around you. They're entering that violent mode I mentioned because they're realizing they can't manipulate you anymore. They can't guilt you into staying stuck. They can't make you feel responsible for their happiness when they've never taken responsibility for your pain. The Chariot moves forward whether others approve or not, and that's the energy you're embodying right now. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The second card coming through for you is Death. And before you panic, let me explain what's actually happening here. The Death card is never about physical death in tarot. Never. What it represents is transformation so complete, so total, that the old version of something can never exist again. Taurus, something in your life is dying right now, and it needs to die. I'm talking about old patterns, old ways of relating to people, old beliefs about what you owe others who've never appreciated what you've given. This Death card is showing me that there's no going back to how things were. And honestly, that's the best news you could possibly receive right now. The people playing victim in your life, they're feeling this death energy too, but they're interpreting it completely differently. They're experiencing the death of their power over you. They're experiencing the death of their ability to make you feel guilty for having boundaries. They're experiencing the death of their control over your emotional state. And that's why they're getting violent about it. See, when people have built their entire identity around being the victim in every story, they need other people to play supporting roles. They need someone to be the villain, someone to be the savior, someone to be the audience that validates their suffering. You've been playing multiple roles in their drama, Taurus. You've been the villain when you didn't do what they wanted. You've been the savior when they needed something from you. You've been the audience applauding their pain while ignoring your own. But death has entered the scene, and it's closing the curtain on this whole performance. The transformation happening right now is so deep that even if you wanted to go back to playing those roles, and I know part of you might feel guilty about that, you literally can't. You've evolved past it. You've seen behind the curtain. You understand the game now, and you can't unknow what you know. What makes this death card even more powerful in your reading is that it's appearing while you're actively moving forward with the Chariot energy. This isn't a passive transformation. You're not waiting for life to change you. You're actively participating in your own rebirth. You're making choices that align with who you're becoming rather than who you used to be. And every choice you make that honors your growth is another nail in the coffin of the old dynamics. The violent reaction you're seeing from these selfish individuals, that's them fighting against this death. They're thrashing around trying to resurrect the old version of you, the version they could control and manipulate. But here's what they don't understand about the death card. Once transformation reaches a certain point, there's no reversing it. A butterfly cannot become a caterpillar again, no matter how much anyone wishes it. Let me pull the next card for you because this is where the message gets even clearer. I'm looking at the Seven of Cups right now, and wow, this explains so much about what these people are doing. The Seven of Cups is the card of illusion, fantasy, and confusion. It shows someone standing before 7 cups, each offering something different, each promising fulfillment, but most of them containing nothing real. This is exactly what's happening with the victim mentality people in your life right now. They're trying to present you with illusions. They're offering you false choices, fake scenarios, manipulative what-ifs, designed to pull you back into confusion. Let me break down what I'm seeing here because it's important you recognize these tactics. They might be presenting themselves as suddenly changed, suddenly aware of how they've hurt you. That's one of the cups, the illusion of transformation on their part. But here's the thing, Taurus. Real transformation, like the death card we just talked about, takes time and genuine self-reflection. People don't suddenly become different people overnight just because they're scared of losing their emotional supply. Another cup might be the illusion of consequences if you don't do what they want. They might be painting dramatic pictures of what will happen if you maintain your boundaries. Family will fall apart, mutual friends will have to choose sides, opportunities will be lost. These are fantasy scenarios designed to trigger your guilt and your natural Taurus desire for stability and harmony. Then there's the cup of guilt itself. They're probably really leaning into making you feel responsible for their emotional state. If they're suffering, it must be because of something you did or didn't do. If they're lonely, it's because you're being cold. If they're struggling, it's because you're being selfish by focusing on your own life. This is pure illusion, Taurus. Their emotional state is their responsibility, not yours. The Seven of Cups is warning you that during this period, you're going to be bombarded with these kinds of manipulative fantasies. The violent mode these people are entering? Part of that violence is psychological. They're going to try to overwhelm you with options, with scenarios, with emotional appeals, all designed to make you so confused that you default back to your old patterns of trying to fix everything and everyone. But here's what the Seven of Cups is really telling you. All these illusions, all these fantasy scenarios, all these manipulative cups they're offering you, you have the power to just walk away from all of them. You don't have to choose any cup. You don't have to engage with any of these false choices. You can see them for what they are, acknowledge that they're trying to confuse you, and keep moving forward with your Chariot energy. What I'm seeing in the cards is that these people are getting more desperate with their illusions because they can feel you seeing through them. Your clarity is increasing. The death transformation you're going through is burning away the fog that used to cloud your judgment. You're starting to see people's true intentions rather than the stories they tell about themselves. This is probably making them increasingly erratic. When a magician realizes their audience has figured out the trick, they don't usually bow gracefully and exit the stage. They often start performing more frantically, trying bigger illusions, making grander promises, anything to recapture that moment when they had everyone fooled. That's what you're witnessing right now. Let me move to the fourth card because this is where we start seeing your power in all of this. I just pulled Judgment and Taurus. This is such a significant card for where you are right now. Judgment is about awakening, about hearing a call that cannot be ignored, about rising up into a new level of consciousness and understanding. The traditional imagery of judgment shows people rising from graves, responding to an angel's trumpet call. This is resurrection, but not resurrection back to the old life. This is resurrection into a completely new existence with full memory and understanding of everything that came before. You're being called to rise up, Taurus, but you're rising with all the wisdom of your experiences intact. Here's what makes Judgment so powerful in your reading right now. This card represents a moment of absolute clarity where you see everything exactly as it is. No more illusions from the Seven of Cups. No more confusion about people's intentions. No more wondering if maybe you're the one who's wrong or too sensitive or expecting too much. Judgment brings crystal clear vision of truth. And this is absolutely terrifying to the people who've been manipulating you. Because when you can see clearly, when you can judge situations and people accurately, you become impossible to gaslight. You can't be convinced that your memory is wrong. You can't be told that your feelings are invalid. You can't be made to doubt your own perception of reality. The violent mode these selfish people are entering, part of that is their reaction to your judgment awakening. They're trying to shout louder than the angel's trumpet that's calling you to rise. They're trying to pile more dirt on top of you to keep you in the grave of your old self. But judgment energy is unstoppable. Once you hear that call, once you start rising, nothing can push you back down. What I'm seeing here is that you've been going through a period of deep reflection and evaluation. You've been looking back at patterns, at relationships, at situations that you previously accepted as normal. And with the clarity of judgment, you're seeing them for what they really were. Maybe for the first time, you're understanding the full extent of how you've been manipulated, used, or taken for granted. This realization isn't comfortable, Taurus. Judgment can feel harsh because it demands that we face truths we might have been avoiding. But it's also incredibly liberating, because once you truly see and understand what's been happening, you can make informed decisions about your future. You're not operating on hope or wishful thinking or the benefit of the doubt anymore. You're operating on clear, accurate perception. The karma aspect of your reading is coming through strongly with this Judgment card. In traditional tarot, judgment is literally about karmic reckoning, about accounts being settled, about truth being revealed. The people who've been playing victim while actually being the most selfish individuals in the room, their karma is catching up with them. And you, Taurus, you're the angel's trumpet in this scenario. Not because you're seeking revenge or trying to hurt anyone, but simply because you're awakening, you're rising, your refusal to participate in the old games anymore. That is the karmic consequence these people are facing. They built their whole world on the foundation of your willingness to accept responsibility for their happiness. Now that foundation is crumbling because you've heard the judgment call, and you're rising into a new understanding of yourself and your worth. The storm you're going through that you already know about, this is it. This is the judgment storm. It's the storm of awakening, of seeing clearly, of people's masks falling off, of karmic accounts being balanced. And yes, it's turbulent. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, these people are getting violent in their reactions, but you cannot unring the bell of awareness. You cannot unsee what you now see. Moving to the fifth card now, and I'm holding the Eight of Wands. This card is all about rapid movement, swift action, things happening quickly after a period of waiting. Taurus, if you've been feeling like things have been moving slowly, like you've been stuck in this difficult situation forever, the Eight of Wands is telling you that's about to change dramatically. Everything I've been talking about with the other cards, the Chariot, Death, Seven of Cups, Judgment, all of this is about to accelerate. The Eight of Wands shows 8 wands flying through the air, moving so fast there's no stopping them. This is momentum that's been building up, and it's about to be released all at once. For you, this likely means that situations are going to resolve themselves much faster than you expected. Decisions that you've been agonizing over are going to become obvious. People who've been showing their true colors are going to do something so blatant that even they can't spin it into a victim narrative. The truth is going to come out quickly, clearly, and undeniably. But here's what you need to understand about the Eight of Wands energy. When things are moving this fast, you don't have time to second-guess yourself. You don't have time to overthink every decision or worry about everyone else's feelings. You have to trust your judgment, trust your Chariot direction, and keep moving forward. The Eight of Wands demands decisive action. This is probably going to trigger even more intense reactions from the selfish victim mentality people around you. Because when things are moving slowly, they have time to manipulate each situation, to spin each narrative, to carefully construct their illusions. But when the Eight of Wands shows up and everything starts happening rapidly, they can't keep up with their own lies. They can't manage all the different stories they've told to different people. Things start contradicting, masks start slipping, truth starts emerging. What I'm seeing is that you're entering a period where cosmic timing is on your side. Things that needed to happen but seemed delayed, they're all going to start happening in quick succession. This might feel overwhelming at first, like too much is changing too fast. But remember your Chariot energy, Taurus. You're in control. You're directing this movement. The Eight of Wands is working with you, not against you. The karma aspect really intensifies with this card, because karma isn't always slow and subtle. Sometimes karma comes in like the Eight of Wands, swift and undeniable. The people who've been manipulating, lying, playing victim while actually being incredibly selfish, their actions are going to catch up with them at speed. They won't have time to craft new narratives or find new people to blame. The consequences of their choices are going to arrive too fast for them to dodge. And here's something really important I'm seeing in these cards. The Eight of Wands isn't just about external movement. It's also about internal clarity arriving quickly. Those moments of sudden insight where everything just clicks into place, you're going to be experiencing a lot of those very soon. Puzzle pieces you've been trying to fit together for months or even years are going to suddenly make perfect sense. This rapid clarity is going to be your power during this storm. While these other people are scrambling, while they're trying to maintain their victim narratives and control the situation, you're going to be seeing everything with absolute precision. Your judgment awakening combined with Eight of Wands speed means you're going to be several steps ahead of their manipulation attempts. Now, the final card I'm pulling for you is the Knight of Pentacles. And this is such an interesting energy to end on because it seems to contrast with all the rapid movement we've been talking about. But actually, it's the perfect grounding energy for everything else in this reading. The Knight of Pentacles is steady, reliable, methodical, and absolutely committed to the long-term goal. While all this chaos is swirling around you, while these people are losing their minds and showing their true violent tendencies, while situations are accelerating and transforming, you need to stay grounded in your values and your long-term vision. This knight doesn't get distracted by drama. He doesn't speed up just because other people are panicking. He knows where he's going, he knows what he's building, and he takes each step deliberately and carefully. This is the energy you need to embody, Taurus, especially during the intense period that's coming. See the people trying to manipulate you with their victim mentality? They're counting on you to react emotionally. They're counting on you to get caught up in their drama, to start moving at their frantic pace, to make decisions based on guilt or fear or urgency. The Knight of Pentacles says absolutely not. You're going to move at your pace, according to your values, toward your goals. This is going to be incredibly frustrating for them. When someone is being emotionally violent, when they're creating chaos and urgency, they expect an immediate reaction. They expect you to drop everything and attend to their crisis, their feelings, their needs. But the Knight of Pentacles just keeps doing what needs to be done, keeps building what needs to be built, keeps moving toward the goal, regardless of the noise around him. What I'm seeing here is that your grounded, steady approach is actually going to be one of the things that triggers their most violent reactions. Because your refusal to engage with their chaos, your refusal to be rushed or pressured or guilted, that takes away all their power. They can't manipulate someone who won't engage with the manipulation. The Knight of Pentacles is also telling me about the practical steps you're taking or need to take. While all this spiritual and emotional transformation is happening, while karma is working itself out, you still have your daily life to manage. You still have goals to achieve, responsibilities to handle, a future to build. This night reminds you not to get so caught up in other people's drama that you neglect your own path. This is where the storm you already know about becomes manageable. Yes, it's turbulent. Yes, these people are showing their worst sides. Yes, rapid changes are coming. But you've got both feet planted firmly on the ground. You know what you're building, you know where you're going, and nothing these people do can shake you from your foundation if you embody this Knight of Pentacles energy. The karma element here is beautiful because the Knight of Pentacles represents earned rewards. Not lucky breaks or sudden windfalls, but rewards that come from consistent effort, from staying true to your values, from doing the right thing even when it's hard. While these selfish people are facing the karma of their manipulative actions, you're going to start seeing the karma of your actions. The positive karma of every time you chose integrity over convenience. Every time you maintained your boundaries despite guilt trips. Every time you kept moving forward even when people tried to hold you back. This Knight works slowly, but he always completes his mission. The people trying to stop you, trying to pull you back into their drama, they're going to exhaust themselves with their violent reactions and victim narratives. But you're just going to keep steadily moving forward until one day you look back and realize how far you've traveled while they're still stuck in the same spot, still playing the same games, still wondering why everyone keeps leaving them. Taurus, I want you to really take in the full picture these cards are painting. You've got the Chariot showing you moving forward with purpose and control. You've got Death showing complete transformation where the old patterns cannot survive. You've got the Seven of Cups warning you about the illusions and confusion these people will try to throw at you. You've got Judgment calling you to rise into full awareness and clarity. You've got the Eight of Wands showing rapid movement and swift karma. And you've got the Knight of Pentacles keeping you grounded and focused on your long-term goals. This is not a reading about avoiding a storm. This is a reading about being the most powerful version of yourself, right in the middle of the storm. These selfish people with their victim mentality, their violent reactions, their desperate attempts to maintain control, they're the storm. But you're not trying to stop the storm or calm the storm or fix the storm. You're learning to navigate through it while staying true to your course. The violent mode they're entering is real, and you should take it seriously by protecting your energy and maintaining firm boundaries. But it's not something to fear. It's actually a sign that you're doing exactly what you need to be doing. People only fight this hard when they're losing. They only get this desperate when their old tactics aren't working anymore. Their violence is proof of your power, not evidence of your weakness. When I look at all these cards together, what I see is someone who's been through the preparation phase and is now entering the action phase. You've been learning, growing, seeing clearly, building your strength. Now it's time to use all of that. The storm isn't coming, Taurus. You're already in it and you already know that. But what you might not have realized is that you're not just surviving this storm, you're mastering it. The karma playing out here isn't just about these other people getting what they deserve, although that is happening. It's also about you receiving what you deserve. Peace, clarity, authentic relationships, respect, space to grow, freedom from manipulation. That's your karma for all the times you stayed kind when it would have been easier to be cruel. for all the times you maintained your integrity when it would have been simpler to stoop to their level. Every single card in this reading is supporting you. Even the challenging ones like Death and the Seven of Cups, they're not working against you. They're working for you by clearing out what doesn't serve you and warning you about the tactics you'll face. This entire reading is basically the universe saying, we've got your back, keep going, you're doing exactly what you need to be doing. Those people playing victim while being selfish, let them spiral. Let them show everyone who they really are. Let them exhaust themselves with their violent reactions. You just keep your eyes on your path. Keep that chariot moving forward. Embrace the death transformation. See through the Seven of Cups illusions. Answer the judgment call. Ride the Eight of Wands momentum. And stay grounded like the Knight of Pentacles. The beautiful thing about karma is that it's not your job to enforce it. It's not your responsibility to make sure these people learn their lessons or face consequences. Your only job is to keep yourself safe, maintain your boundaries, honor your growth, and keep building your future. The universe handles the rest. And based on these cards, the universe is handling it quite thoroughly. I know this storm feels intense. I know watching people you maybe once cared about turn violent in their reactions is painful. I know the guilt they're trying to trigger is uncomfortable. But Taurus, you're not responsible for other people's reactions to your growth. You're not responsible for how they handle the consequences of their own actions. You're only responsible for your own choices, your own path, your own integrity. And from what these cards are showing me, you're handling your responsibilities beautifully. You're moving forward, transforming, seeing clearly, rising up, building something real. That's all you need to focus on. The rest is just noise, and you're learning to tune it out. So keep going. Keep those boundaries firm. Keep seeing through the illusions. Keep answering that call to rise higher. Keep riding the momentum of positive change. Keep your feet planted on solid ground, even when everything around you feels chaotic. You're not just surviving this, Taurus. You're becoming someone even more powerful, even more authentic, even more aligned with your true self. The storm you already know about, you're going to come through it stronger, clearer, and more free than you've ever been. And those people stuck in their victim mentality with their violent reactions, they're going to learn the hardest lesson life can teach, that you can't manipulate karma, and you can't guilt someone into staying small forever. Your transformation is unstoppable. Your clarity is growing. Your power is increasing. And that's exactly as it should be.